road. And that's the big.
With planning and zoning, then here, an incorporated area, for anyone,
Right. So
they could go on and build.
yeah.
Can you refresh us, Judge, on what planning and zoning said about this?
That it's indifferent. It's my understanding, like the homework I did as for the request is of a different. It's crazy 3 years ago because the request isn't, new road to be put in.
The impact doesn't change. It's like
acre lots. There's two houses there. So like I understand like kind of what they're saying, but in a way it doesn't make a lot of sense because once my road frontage is up,
You can't.
it doesn't matter if it's 1 acre or 5 acres, that's the end of the road. I mean, so it's which is two lots. I mean, there's other houses that on that road that are 1 acre. I mean, his family actually have the house that was 1 acre and it's just sold. You know what I mean?
They were gravel before this all was changed.
I'm just saying, it's okay for them, not okay for me. I mean, that's why we're here. I'm not asking for special favors. You know that's not what I'm following the process. This is a process. I mean, I stood here 3-4 years ago, however long it is, and I said, I'm building the road or I'm building houses along the road. I'm building a house on this ridge. I mean, and here, I'm standing here in front of you today, like that's what I'm doing. I've punted on the road, going back there. I'm just going to use my road frontage up, and and keep the rest of my land for agricultural use. That I use it for hunting and whatever I might want to do with it. So, I mean, to say that, it's adding all these extra houses by making it a 1 acre lot. It's not adding any extra houses. There's still going to be 2 houses, more houses going there, whether it's on 1 acre or 5 acre. The one is already existing. I'm selling to a friend of mine that she can't afford 5 acres. You know what I mean? Not all of us can. So it's more economical for her for 1 acre. Plus, I retain my agricultural land. You know what I mean? That we're worried about the way it looks. Well, I can tell you, it's going to be agricultural behind those houses unless I come back here and see you all again and decide to do something different. But I'm just, I've been honest. I've been here every time and done things the way it's supposed to be done. I mean, I don't think everyone's going to agree with me. I'm a business person. I run into people that don't agree with me all the time. Doesn't make them right or me wrong or vice versa. But it's not going to change. There's 2 more houses going there, whether it's on 1 acre or 5 acres. I mean, yeah. No, because I want to retain the agricultural land that you guys are worried about.
because you want to do that for yourself.
That's okay. I bought the farm for myself. I could do. That's why I'm here.
What you want, that's the point right there.
Well, maybe if I'd have done it 30 years ago, I could have grandfathered in. It's the same. I mean, it doesn't.
No, it's not the same.
It is. It's exactly the
Because
same.
the comprehensive plan calls out that.
Well, I don't know. I think the comprehensive
Well,
is a little different than now than it was 4 years ago.
Yeah,
I'll just be wrong.
Has
We're
the
not
county
here to
attorney's
debate back and
office
forth.
reviewed the current plan?
This is not something that's come before me. I can't speak for Stephen. But I'm not.
It hasn't changed. It has not changed.
Did you have a chance to speak, Stephen?
Yeah, and Becky.
And,
Yeah.
and
Yes,
okay.
she did.
And as far as I was advised, that it was in compliance where this situation was different than the prior one. And that's what counsel you had gotten from them as well.
That's my understanding.
I mean, the motion in planning and zoning was made by Jason Dunaway, who was worked for him for one, but said, I believe, I make a motion to approve the motion because I believe it does follow the comprehensive plan. It absolutely does not follow the comprehensive plan.
That would be considered a conflict.
I would have thought so.
When he worked for him.
He worked for it, and then he makes the motion.
The process.
He should have sat out of that meeting.
Well, that's
But there was
what
numerous
happened.
people voting, right?
Right,
According to
yeah,
the minutes.
it obviously passed by major majority. But the thing is, on this issue, is, as Jacqueline said, is, and I get what, to preserve it as agriculture as much as possible. There's a lot of land on Baton Rouge Road. And I know that there will be somebody else, whether it's Kevin or whoever, come back up. I mean, there's a lot of farms and people are paying high dollars for them.
Hasn't happened yet, just that strip, the old, who was it, across from the old Whitten farm, they sold that off, and they sold it all off in 5 to 7 acre lots. Imagine how much money they'd made if they got to do it in an acre and a quarter. They could have had 12 lots, 15 instead of
Did they
7.
Did they apply? Did
I'm
those
not aware of
people?
That's just the point.
No, they
Right,
didn't
but-
apply.
Following the rules.
Everybody up at the end of the road, up at the 1 mile point there, they're all following the rules. Or do we get,
But it's not following the rules.
Yeah,
It's just the rules.
I disagree. I
that's
mean,
not-
he's following
that's
the
not a fair
rules. He
thing to
went
say.
to-
I'm here following the rules. This is the rules.
The rules of
No, that's not the rules. The rules are you come for a body of you guys and planning zoning, and that's what the rules are.
Well, and that's,
Things change. It's not like 20
Well, the
years
con-
from now we're going to stand here and say like Baton Rouge isn't going to have any development on it. It's going to, and so is everything else around
all due
here.
respect, they're supposed to follow the comprehensive plan, which states that they are not supposed to build on it, change the zoning. That's just the fact of the matter.
I don't think
but,
that's the case.
You know, the comprehensive plan has needed to be revised for many, many years, and it hasn't. I will say this, I think Baton Rouge Road is a horrible road to travel for multiple vehicles and everything. Kevin, nothing against you, but I'll be honest with you, like I've told you before,
I agree. Lincoln,
You know.
we can name 10 other ones that are
Absolutely.
the same exact
Absolutely.
way.
And I'll be honest with you, it won't happen in my lifetime, my children's lifetime, or my grandchildren's lifetime of seeing these roads upgraded to where multiple houses could continue to be built on these roads. It's just not going to happen. This county don't have the money. County ain't going to get that money for decades. It ain't going to happen. We ain't Boone. We ain't Scott. We're stuck in the middle. It ain't going to happen.
So with that being said, why would we want to promote more building on this already undersized road? And if they want to build, they build 5 acre tracts.
But that's kind of like saying the road's not good enough to build a house, but it's okay to build a house on a 5 acre tract. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
But
No,
have as much
that's not how
road
that works.
frontage.
You have to have it's not how it works. You have to have
hey, hold on a second. We're not going to debate it
I mean,
in this
it's really not
style.
how it works. I know that's not how it works. I think
What he's trying to say is the road frontage.
But you
There's
have
only
to
so
have
much
road-
road frontage, so.
Exactly. You have to have a certain amount of road frontage. You could have 1,000 acres, and if you only have 250 foot of road frontage, you're only going to put a 2 houses on it. That's just the way. That's how it is. You know, so it doesn't. Whether you break that down you can't make more lots out of this or that road frontage. It doesn't work that way.
I mean, and saying you're trying to justify voting on this by saying we're not putting a road in now, we're just shrinking the allowable size of the lots. You're still doing the same thing, because if he does it, there could be somebody else do it, and then we're back to the same thing. It don't matter if it's a road, it's the amount of houses you're allowed to be built on a piece of property.
Well, and
If you make it a B&B, he said there won't be much traffic. There's 17, 20 cars up on the first one.
well, we're just doing a zone. It has nothing to do with whether it's Airbnb or a residential home. And just for record, we're not trying to justify anything. We're just trying to follow what we understand the comprehensive plan to be.
The comprehensive plan says you can't build on it without it being updated. And maybe they'll change that, but it's not changed right now.
And if they just change
But-
the words, it doesn't change the what we have there. I mean, the road's still gonna be the same. Even if they take it completely out there, the road's still gonna be the same. And as I pointed out earlier, you even pointed out that your own daughter had an accident.
She did. And I had an accident on 22 with my other kids. I mean, I'm not telling you, I'm not saying that accidents can't happen, but I can tell you I drive that road every day, and you know, I feel safe as can be. I mean, in my dually, I mean, is that a problem too? I mean, it seems like a, you know what I mean? It seems like, you know, unless I have a horse and carriage, like I can't drive. I mean, it's my road too. I pay taxes. I mean, you know, I can drive my truck down the road. I take my time. You know. So, I mean,
Okay, does anyone else have anything to speak on? Okay, are you done, Kevin?
I'm done. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Did Shauna have anything, or?
Shauna, did you have any questions?
Well, I was just, what I'm confused about is that, you know, one side says that it doesn't meet the comprehensive plan, and the other side says that it does meet the comprehensive plan. I mean, isn't there somebody from the planning and zoning that can come in and, you know, prove to us which way is it?
Well, this went before planning and zoning. Planning and zoning passed it because they believed it went through the comprehensive plan. And if the court doesn't mind, and I normally don't do this, but I'm getting ready to table this because I want to do a little bit more research. I wanted to hear testimony from the audience to see what they had to say, and I hate to put it on anybody that's wanting to do a zone change or move forward, but I'd like to table this to our next meeting to give us more opportunity to do further research on it. So,
Or if,
I'm-
go ahead, Shauna.
I am interested in doing that, and at the same time, I would like a representative from the planning and zoning to be able to attend this meeting.
okay,
Talk to Becky this afternoon and ask her to come.
yeah. And that's not normal for planning and zoning. They're sort of separate from us.
When they've already had a
Yeah, when they've already had a hearing, they've passed it to us to make a decision. I just want to do our due diligence to make sure, because I like hearing both sides, and I understand both sides. I don't believe government should dictate to sell a property, but I want to follow guidelines too. And I
I
understand the
absolutely do too.
dilemma
That's
on
why I
both
want to hear
sides.
both sides.
And like I said, this is probably the first time I've ever tabled something, but I want to table this one and do some more research.
And Judge, and that could include even calling like a special meeting.
Yes.
And I'm assuming constituents are on the distribution so that it necessarily may not take a full 2 weeks
Right.
to where we could handle.
But I'm counting on, and Kevin, I don't know what your time frame is, and I hate to delay anyone, but I like to get things right. You know. So I don't want to change for a special meeting, 2 weeks to give us time to sit down with Pete and Stephen and do some further research deeper in the comprehensive plan to look at some alternatives.
Could it be possible to have Becky here at the next meeting as well?
I don't think so. I don't know that it's practical for someone from planning and zoning to attend our meeting that would sway a decision of the court one way or the other.
I'll be honest, I do have a question when you made a comment about the one making the motion. Does he work for you, Kevin?
No, he did. Jason Dunaway built houses for you.
Well, that's
We built some houses together, but no, well, then you work with it.
It worked.
I work for you too.
But that's not, fellas, that's not uncommon in a community our size. I mean,
Yeah.
you're related to folks, that's not.
I work with their, you know what I mean, with a lot of the people that in this community. I've lived here my entire life, you know. I mean, I have a business here that I work with several people. You know.
well. Let's like I said,
I mean, He did tile work for me.
That's
That's-
that's beside the
Besides that,
point.
you know what, and Jason Dunaway and all the rest of you guys that I'm having a relationship with besides just business, you all are all people of integrity. I don't think anyone would take my side over theirs because we did a job together or we were friends or whatever. I think it's ridiculous.
Okay, thanks.
I think Becky knows that it does not follow the comprehensive plan, or she would not have brought up in that meeting that they're working on changing it. What would be
Well,
the details?
they're working on modifying because the comprehensive plan has been updated. I think they update it every 5 years. It's not where it should be with the growth that the county's seen. And we've talked to them, and Rogers even spoke to on that issue that they need to update that comprehensive plan. But like I said, I want to do some more homework and meet with the county attorneys and look at this a little deeper. Okay? Do what now?
If this passes, can anybody up down the road sell an acre lot and build a house?
They would have to follow the same.
They'd have to go through planning and zoning. It would have to come to us.
Yes,
This passes on an acre, we're gonna be able to do.
yes.
Well, you could.
Yes.
That was my
That-
point
that's
about,
where we were going with, there's a fine line of.
yeah.
If you say no, do you say no to everyone? Meaning if any of you all choose to be in a position of needing to sell your land or wanting to choose to sell your land, that's the crossroads in which I'm sure the judge is thinking that you have government telling you what to do with your property. And then he or any of you or anyone could go through the process of it, adhering to planning and zoning, going through that hearing and then coming here. But I do think that as a community, as Rogers pointed out, and I know I've spoken to this judge and prior judge executives, the planning and zoning, due to the growth in this community, the comprehensive plan may or may not be where it needs to be. And that is left open to interpretation.
So if I could, I'll just add one other thing. Applicant's statement of findings, this is from his application, in regards to the comprehensive plan. The response was, Sir Holm requested zoning classifications in agreement with the adopted comprehensive plan of the county. So, yes, in fact, we approve this. Please state how the proposed change in zoning classifications, one or more of the following findings: selling in the residential property. Is that really a reason to change this? This is from the application.
That is,
It makes no sense.
and maybe statistically, I think when you go and look at applications, I would think that is a consistent reason why folks go through that process, isn't it?
Yes.
On,
Changed the application from 21 when he did his first application. Some actual reason in their life.
well, but it's also my understanding this isn't the request to put in a new road off of Baton Rouge. It's to utilize the available road frontage. And once that road frontage is done, just like any of us that have property, it's not available for residential sale anymore once the road frontage is utilized. So, you have none?
I have no road frontage. I'm at
You,
25 feet.
you said you was, and so then in current plan, that would be what, a conditional use? If someone were to want to sell that if he doesn't have, is 100 foot or 50 foot of road frontage? So will you let me know
So
when
we'll-
those meetings happen? I would love to
Yes.
listen in.
If that's true, why can y'all put a thing, Charlie Raleigh's place, put a driveway, go back into like two farms, like two properties all the same? You don't even have to take out a right of way.
What property is this?
But that happened because y'all said you wouldn't let the driveways join each other, you didn't want people to use the same driveway.
I'm
I'm
not
not
even, I'm not
familiar
really
with it.
familiar with that, but
What example is this?
yeah.
Oh,
let's-
okay.
Let's stay
Can I
on,
ask you-
let's stay on track. But if no one's opposed, with the court, can we table this and bring it back before our next meeting, which is going to be April 1st?
Okay.
And give me time, and like I said, I'll include you and Stephen and Pete to do some further research and look into it, okay? Sorry for you all to come out, but I wanted to hear from everyone, and it leads us to that decision of tabling it for the night and revisiting this next meeting, okay? Okay, move on down to our county clerk, Tavis Clemens, is here before us on our final settlement of excess fees for 2024.
Good evening. So I have a presentation that Colton's putting up for you. Just to give you a few recaps, I'm not going to cover every single thing in here. If you have questions, you're welcome to reach out to me. For every year, you can click on Colton. Every year, I give you kind of a rundown of how many deputies. We are down right now. We have 6 full-time deputies in the office. That's partially due to the amount of revenue that we're receiving in. I don't want to hire anyone else at this point just because of car sales being down and property sales are down in the first quarter of the year because that's just typical of how things work. Property doesn't sell in the winter. So we do have 2 part-time and 1 high school co-op right now. A year-to-year budget comparison, you can see here on the next slide that this year in 2024, we projected our budget at 8.6, which has been consistent since last year. We brought in less than we did last year with 11.3 was our actual revenue. The projected disbursement would have been the 8.6. The actual disbursement was the full amount of the 11.3. We had projected to turn over $2,355 to the court. I gave a check to the fiscal court for $49,535.83, which brings the total in the 9 years that I've completed as county clerk to $828,407.46 to the fiscal court that you all have received in excess fees from my office. The next slide shows you the tax revenue that the fiscal court has received from the county clerk's office since 2015. The 2024 numbers will be that is going to be the highest year of collection for the fiscal court. We collected $363,000 and some change in ad valorem tax, which is the personal property tax that we all pay on cars, trucks, trailers, campers, boats. The next tax that we collect for the county is called deed transfer tax. Every time a transfer of property happens that there's not an exemption, a tax is collected. That was $150,000 last year. And then delinquent property tax. When the sheriff has his day of celebration on April 15th in just a few weeks, those bills come to my office. We collect those. That is a day of mourning in my office instead of celebration because we have a whole new realm of work to do. So while we enjoy seeing those bills paid, it is becoming harder and harder to sell those bills. And you'll see that in the downturn of the revenue in delinquent tax. We collected $22,000 in delinquent tax last year that was for the fiscal court, which is down from $26,000. I certainly think that there's some improvement that the legislator could make in that realm. One thing that we as county clerks are pushing for is to move the delinquent property tax on mobile homes from a property tax bill to being collected as part of their vehicles. Now that we have the new vehicle system, we would like to see mobile homes be collected as part of property tax bills because they are titled property.
Didn't they used to be back in the day?
No. So they have titles to those mobile homes. It would be simple just to assign an ad valorem tax to those just like we do a camper or a trailer or a car or truck. Just so we could see that participation. $329.43, and in the time that I've been clerk, we've collected over $4 million for the fiscal court. The last slide, I always give you guys some ideas of things that are going on in the office that I would like to have addressed. Several of these things were on this list last year as well, and that's fixing the concrete and railing on the north entrance of the office. That is still there, still has some problems, and we'd like to see that get addressed. The glass office entrance doors continue to be an issue. I'm sure if you've been in and out of the office, you've noticed that those doors are sticking. We're definitely having to help elderly people on this side of the office to get the door open sometimes if it's not, those of you who frequent the office often know that. The downstairs carpeting in one of the meeting rooms downstairs, and then the tile, we still would like to see that replaced. The lighting is an ongoing issue. We have lights out pretty consistently. We'd like to replace more of those this year. We also have the mandatory maintenance of election equipment that is coming due. We have to do that during the off year of elections, so that is an expense that I just want you to be aware of that will be headed your way probably sometime in the second quarter of this year, which would be your all's last quarter. And then the outdoor awnings over the doors. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take those.
Tabitha, on the mandatory maintenance, on average, what do you anticipate that to run?
On
And the equipment?
So the projection that I received from our election vendor the other day was just under $8,000. So I'm waiting. I had some questions about it, so I've sent them some questions back. I'm waiting to get a response from the questions that I had. They had to reach out to Hart Intercivic, the manufacturer, to get some of those answered. So we're waiting to get those answers back before I can give you a firm number. But the first number I saw was just under $8,000.
Okay. But, because we're on the verge of doing our budget.
I understand.
And then from this listing, is it listed outside of the mandatory maintenance on the election equipment?
Mm-hmm.
Is that listed in priority order based off of you running that facility?
No, not necessarily. The doors, the concrete railing on the one side of the building is, we've talked about that several years. The glass doors is what I'm most concerned with, because there's going to come a time, a gentleman, we have a locksmith that we use for the office, and the last time he was in, which has been probably 18 months ago, he was here and we were having some issues, and he was taking care of some other key issues that I had in the office. And while he was there, I had him look at the locks, and he said, there's going to come a day, and it's not going to be too far out, you're going to go to lock that door, and it's not going to work. And so the doors are old. They're original to the building. So the inside mechanism that's in there, for years we were replacing those there was a junkyard that they would go to, find those old doors, get the mechanism. It's just not the case anymore. Those parts don't
doors
exist.
were outdated, and it's
Yep.
hard to get
Similar as we have in
parts.
Right.
Yes.
the old
Yeah.
part of the cell.
So it's just, and we're noticing how hard they are to lock. We keep them lubricated pretty often. I do that myself. We keep them lubed up so that we can keep them moving, but it's becoming more difficult. So I would say if I had to pick something right now, the glass doors would be the option, because if we can't lock them, I can't secure the building.
Okay.
Any other
you.
questions?
No?
Okay.
I will say just to comment, like on the deeds and stuff, like with the price of land, since the deed cost is based on the percentage of sale. Like when you look at the trends, it's an all-time record high.
Right.
Like on the deed transfers itself.
Deed transfer tax. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that speaks to how much is sold, and the price of what is sold.
Yes.
But I don't, you can certainly see how it's come up from 2015, where it was $56,000, and this year it's $150,000. Yeah, it's 3 times as much. And the one thing that I want you to keep in mind is all of this is based off of market demand. So just because, somebody may be sitting here thinking, well, why would you only plan a budget for 8.6 and then you bring in 11? Well, the reason I do that is because I'm not going to overshoot our revenues. It's not what it's about. And when I read the economic reports that I do read, last year everything was a downturn on car sales because of interest rates. So you have to weigh those options. We were really fortunate that last year one of our companies brought in a huge fleet of vehicles to us. We're seeing that reward now, in the ad valorem taxes that we're collecting this year. But we were up in transfers last year because that company brought a fleet of vehicles from Colorado to us. And that was due primarily to the customer service that the office provides to that company. If that wasn't the case, they were not going to move them here. So we.
And even the ad valorem is all-time high.
Correct. Yeah. And you'll see that, again, in March, you're going to see that trend go up too because of that company and being able to renew the amount of vehicles and trailers that we're renewing for them right now. So, any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Tabitha. Appreciate that report and update. Moving down to item 7, we don't have any old business before the court. Our new business, I want to welcome our guest here is Corey Eimer with the Northern Kentucky Area Development District. Corey, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Good evening, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you this evening. I just want to give an update on the Northern Kentucky Area Development District. I will try to stay within 10 minutes, if that's okay. I wanted to also, no one said, I wanted to also just kind of give an overview.
That's not a reflection of you.
Yeah.
I do have handouts that I'm going to leave behind, if that's okay. We have a one-pager, just kind of giving a summary of some of our programming. Also brought with me the 2024 annual report. And this is one of our more popular resources, the Older Adults Resource Guide that gets updated every year. I have a big stack of those too if you want to keep those and maybe even share those with the Senior Center. First of all, I just wanted to say the Northern Kentucky Area Development District, and I think everyone here is pretty clear on what we do, but basically we were established in 1971 to provide comprehensive support for our communities. We're considered a quasi-governmental organization, and the reason for that is because we were created by state statute, but we're not staffed by the state. We're not state employees. We've been around then since 1971, and we've been providing comprehensive support to our communities ever since in a variety of ways. Just last May, so about 10 months ago, we updated our strategic plan. And I really like the new strategic plan because I think it simplifies what we do, and it can be summarized in 3 words: collaborate, empower, and convene. And those 3 things get unpacked a little bit on the one-pager that I handed out. But part of that strategic plan as well was that we got feedback that not all communities really understand what we do and how we can support them. So our goal, and we're almost there, we were presenting to all 60 municipalities in Northern Kentucky. We started that back in, I want to say, maybe October. So we have 8 counties, of course, and 52 cities in the 8-county area development district. So we've been doing things like this, presenting to our stakeholders and partners about what we do, and hopefully that leads to more conversations about how we can support in additional ways. Just wanted to give a summary a little bit on some of the work that we do through our various divisions. So we do have several divisions at the Area Development District. Our largest is the Aging and Disabilities Division. And one of the resources that they provide is the resource guide that I mentioned before. But one of the other big things that they do is they staff the Aging and Disability Resource Center. We fielded over 10,000 calls last year for folks calling in to see how they might get support for a loved one, or even themselves if they're a senior citizen or if they have a disability. So that's a big resource that we provide. We also are the ombudsman for senior services, or senior centers, I should say, in the region. So we work closely with the senior center in Williamstown as an example. That is our largest division, by the way, our Aging and Disabilities Division. Next, we have Local Government Services, and I know many of you have talked to Chris Courtney. That division really is designed to support our municipalities. So from seeking grants, to calculating tax rates, to doing survey studies for both private sector employers and nonprofit organizations. They support municipalities in a number of ways. Relatively new is our Community Development and Support Division. That was reestablished really in July. It was its own division up until 2004, and then it got combined with Local Government Services. Thank you to the R.C. Durr Foundation. We were able to split that back out and make it its own standalone division once again to add capacity to better support our communities. So community development and support really is helping communities identify development projects, helping identify grant opportunities, write for those grant opportunities, and then help with other other projects that they may have. There's actually a list of grant opportunities and projects on our website right now, nkadd.org. And we, of course, have our Finance and Administration Division, which is the backbone. You know, they make the operation work. And finally, I saved my division for last. And I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce myself.
We know you, right?
I'm just now realizing I didn't say who I am.
It's all good.
Okay. My division is Workforce Development, and in a nutshell, we are investing in the 8-county region to get job seekers into gainful employment and help employers find people and keep people. That's as basic as I can break it down. One of the largest programs that we have is through the Department of Labor, and through those dollars, we support the Kentucky Career Centers within the 8 counties. We also have a large federal program called Employment Connections, where we help individuals who are getting KTAP and SNAP benefits get into gainful employment to be able to not only maintain those benefits, but hopefully eventually be able to be unsubsidized and get into gainful employment without having that assistance. What's most relevant right now for Grant County is that, and I always like to apologize for this because I think I was talking to a judge about this not too long ago. Over the last 15 years, I think we've had about 6 different locations of Kentucky Career Centers in this county. And I think we've transitioned from location to location for good reason, but I am excited and optimistic that we are now planning to move into the DCBS office in Crittenden. And what that's going to allow us to do is really be right there on site to be able to help individuals who are accessing services in that county. We're going to be able to do weekly workshops, job search assistance, hopefully provide an array of workforce services to help those folks who are needing entry into the workforce. So I hope that site gets approved. There is a certification process. I hope that site gets approved this summer. That is the goal.
Where is that located at again in Crittenden?
It is a new building in Crittenden, and it's on Violet. So
Okay.
It's the old doctor's office.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
the old
Okay. I was just trying to, okay.
I actually have to still visit that location. I do know it's conducive for a career center,
Okay.
just based on how it was described to me. But
It's a pretty good
I was
sized
going to
building.
say, as a former patient there, I can imagine some remodel and it'll be just fine.
It has been.
Yeah.
They've done a total remodel
Yeah.
in there upstairs and down. It's very nice.
I'm happy to answer any questions. I won't take up any more of your time, but just thank you again for allowing me to be here and
Well,
tell
we
you a little bit about
appreciate
our
you
work.
coming down, speaking to us, and updating us with all the things going on productively at Ed District.
Thank you, Judge. And I forgot to mention, the Board of Directors is listed on the one-pager, and Judge Dills is on our Board of Directors, so Judge gets to hear.
And if I'm not available, Colton fills in for me,
Right.
so, when there's a conflict.
All All right.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, Corey. Okay, moving down to reports, judge's report. I don't have anything to report on tonight for the next meeting. Magistrate's report, Roger, anything? Jacqueline? Shauna?
No, I have nothing, thank you.
Okay, save it all next meeting. So moving down to attending citizens address. Anyone in the audience? Tony?
Oh my gosh, we got to make an announcement for constituents that would like to submit a
Yes.
resume for.
On the ambulance taxi district board is short
How did we
a board member, and we're accepting applications till,
Friday, March 28th.
Friday, March 28th, so we can make a decision at our April 1st meeting.
Way to hold us accountable and
Thank you,
remind
Tony,
us.
for bringing that up.
And specifically looking for someone who has a skill set from a financial, treasury, budgeting background.
Okay.
Debbie, did y'all get a chance to put in the paper about our hyper reach?
I put the other stuff in about the potholes, but I did the hyper reach a while back. We'll see if we can put it in again.
It's that time of year. The more we can hammer on, the better off.
In the storms.
But I did put the stuff in about the potholes.
Yeah, I saw that about potholes.
We can get that done.
Okay. Anyone else have anything for the court? Okay, if not, I want to remind everyone our next meeting will be Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 at 6 p.m. here in the courthouse, unless a meeting needs to be called before then. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Magistrate Riley, a second by Magistrate Humphrey. All in favor saying aye.
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 Appears all in favor. We're now adjourned. Thank you all.